Yeah, let's go live now out to the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. You see the First Lady, Chrissy Haslam, about to speak to the crowd and introduce her husband.
Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for supporting us for 4 years. Thank you for supporting us in this election. I look out here and see so many friends from years ago, and thank you for supporting us throughout all these years. It is an honor to serve this great state, and I'm really glad also that you voted for him. Let's bring him back up to the podium. Let's bring him up to the podium. Please help me welcome our friend, my husband, Tennessee's Governor, Bill Haslam.
Thank you all. Walking out here tonight, I couldn't help but think about the story of the turtle on top of a fence post, right? Because if you see a turtle on top of a fence post, you know that he didn't get there by himself. And that is so true of us tonight. First of all, let me start by thanking Chrissy. I'm a little biased, but I don't think any candidate or any governor ever has had a better spouse and partner for doing this than Chrissy Haslam. We have some of our family here. We have Will and our first grandson, Wyatt. Wyatt, thanks for being here. Wyatt's mom is home with Wyatt's little sister, and then Annie is here. Annie's husband David's working, and their baby is back at the governor's residence. And then Lee and her husband Matt, and their baby is sleeping as well. We're trying to see how many cribs we can get into the governor's residence. We're trying to see what the state record for that is. So there's a lot of different ways to grow the population of a state, and we're trying our approach. I also want to thank the rest of my family, my brothers and sisters and their spouses and children. I am, again, biased, but it really helps in this to have a family that loves you and supports you in every way. And particularly I want to thank my mother and father when they, if they take a poll and anybody asks me who the greatest person I know is, he's got my vote. So thank you very, very much for... I also want to thank so many members of the Tennessee State Legislature. I don't have time, but if you're here and you're in the legislature, would you please raise your hand and let us thank you? There's several folks spread around the room. I am so grateful. These folks come, and there's no way that they do it for the money. And there's no way that they do it for the glory. They do it because they care. And each one of them has come here for their own reasons to try to make Tennessee a better state. And I'm very, very grateful and happy to be your partner. I also want to thank all the people on our state government staff and cabinet. And if you're here, if you'd raise your hand, I'd love to have folks thank you as well. So, you know, I tell people all the time, being governor is a little like being the quarterback of the team. You get way more attention than you deserve. And one of the things I know now that I sort of knew when I came here 4 years ago is this is a big job with a lot of different responsibilities. And the key to it is having a great team of people who work with you. And we have that, and you all have my gratitude for the kind of work and effort that you put into this. So thank you very much. And finally, I want to thank all of you. I'm looking around this room and I see people from Clarksville and Chattanooga and Memphis and Bristol, thank you, and Hendersonville and Pell Mell, and I can keep going, but you get the point. Nashville, would everybody like to call out their hometown? Well, but the point is, as I look around this room, I see so many of you all that have helped us in so many ways, as Chrissy said, and then have driven in tonight to be a part of celebrating this with us, and we are very, very grateful for that. 4 years ago when I came, I really, in running, tried to not make a lot of promises, but I really made 3. The first is that we would run the state and the state's budget the same way that you run your business or your family. We would be great stewards of the money, knowing that it's not our money, it's yours. And I believe working with the legislature, we've done that. Due to the team of people you've elected, Tennessee has the lowest debt of any state in the country per capita. This team has cut taxes on everything from the sales tax on grocery to the death tax to the gift tax, other things, to make this the kind of place where people want to live. And I hope that you feel like I do, that again, that we're using your money the same way you would, because we realize it's yours and not ours. The second thing that I promise is that we would make Tennessee the #1 location in the Southeast for high-quality jobs. And again, thanks to this team of people here, we have added 190,000 net new private sector jobs in the last 4 years. Tennessee is the current state of the year for economic development. Tourism is going out the roof. There are so many things we can point to where people really are choosing Tennessee. But we also, the third thing I promised was this, is that we wouldn't back up at all in our commitment to making Tennessee the type of place where your children and grandchildren or friends could have the opportunity to learn in a way that they would be prepared for their future. It was a big deal last year when Tennessee was named the fastest improving state in the country when it came to education results. A lot of jaws around the country went down because that's not how we're usually described. But it was because of the hard work of a lot of principals and teachers and a lot of other professional educators who committed themselves to this idea that every student can learn. And every student, and that we owe every student the obligation to prepare them for their future. So this past year when the legislature joined us in the Tennessee Promise, I thought it was a big step forward for Tennessee. We, for the first time ever of any state, said, we'll make a promise to any Tennessean. If you graduate from high school, we'll give you 2 years of community college or technology school absolutely free. Now, some of you have heard me say, some of you have heard me say that when we announced that it was my hope that 20,000 students would apply. For reference sake, there's 65,000 seniors in high school in Tennessee this year. It was my hope that about a third of those would apply, about 20,000. As of Saturday, November 1st, when the registration deadline closed, we had over 56,000 Tennesseans sign up for the Tennessee Promise. That's about 90% of Tennessee high school seniors who have said, I would love to have a different path for my future, one that includes an opportunity to be trained and to be ready for the challenges that come in the future. You know, it's no big secret, we're all watching election returns come in, that the country has grown frustrated and disenchanted with Washington. There's a sense that people can't make hard decisions anymore about whether it's about a budget or about programs concerning the country's future. I'm really proud of the legislature and the team that we have, that we're making those hard choices in Tennessee, and because of that, Tennessee is moving forward. So what about the next 4 years? In a minute I'll go talk with the folks from the media and they'll say, what about the next 4 years? Well, I'll tell you about the next 4 years. We're going to double down on the progress that Tennessee is making. Tennessee has moved too far to turn back now. We've moved too far to being the kind of place that we want our children and grandchildren to grow up in. We've moved too far in terms of real progress in education. I've said this several times before, but I'm not the first governor to ever say we want to have Tennessee be a different place for educational outcomes for our children. For now, though, we really are making progress, and the worst thing we can do is to turn back on that. So we're going to double down on making certain that every student has that opportunity. We're going to double down on making certain that when people have a choice, whether they're going to grow their business in Tennessee or move somewhere else or move their business to Tennessee, that they choose Tennessee. And we're going to double down on making hard decisions on a budget so that we're running the state's wallet just like you run your own wallet. I will make you one last promise with 3 parts. There will not be another governor who loves his job as much as I do. I promise. There will not be another governor who will work as hard as I will so that Tennessee will be that state. And there will not be another governor who cares as much about the future of our state and the chance for every Tennessean, regardless of where you live, regardless of your race or your gender or your background, for every Tennessean to have that opportunity that we all want for our children and grandchildren. Thank you very much. I can't tell you how much all of us appreciate you being here tonight. This is a really, really encouraging and exciting night for us, and we realize that we wouldn't be here without you. Thank you all very, very much.